It's easy to look around and notice everything wrong in your city. In this podcast by Every Neighborhood Partnership, join Grace and Andrew as they invite friends, activists, pastors, leaders, and city workers to discover what's good in the neighborhood. Join us for insightful conversations that will encourage you to see your city and its people in a new way.
Welcome to What's Good in the Neighborhood. On this episode, we're going to be hearing from pastor and nonprofit leader Jason Spencer. This is a really dynamic conversation. Jason is full of energy and has really done an amazing work of transforming his church in Southwest Fresno to a church that's not just in a neighborhood, but it's actually for the neighborhood and with the neighborhood. In this episode, you're going to hear Jason give you two key skills for being a part of the transformation of neighborhoods, and that is collaboration and learning. If you want to piece together the puzzle of community building, Jason is going to give it to you in this episode. And this is part of our series. As we launch our drive tour, we're trying to expose you to some of the folks that share on the Fresno drive tour that EMP is launching. So hope you enjoy. I know it's a good one.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Grace.
My name is Andrew.
And you're with us on What's Good in the Neighborhood. Thanks for joining. We have a really fun episode today with our dear friend, Jason Spencer.
Love this man. I've known him for, now it's probably been about 10 years.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Over 10, yeah.
So we've done a lot of life together.
That's awesome. Well, we are in our series going through the drive tour, our brand new drive tour with EMP through West and Central Fresno. And so hopefully you've been following along. We're hearing from different people that you'll hear if you go on the drive tour. So Jason is that voice for us when it comes to being a church in the neighborhood, specifically in his location of Southwest Fresno.
Yeah, Jason's somebody we encountered. Our heart and the work we do has been to come alongside community partners, which include churches, to see them get engaged in our city. And Jason's one of those leaders who attached to us years ago, and we've really been on a learning journey together. And I think as we've grown, he's grown, and back and forth, it's been a really fun way to watch his vision for his neighborhood, for the city come. And so, Jason, we're excited to hear about that journey, hear about what you love about your neighborhood, why you're doing what you're doing. And even, I think, for most folks, like, you've actually launched a nonprofit out at the church. So love to just hear a little snapshot of your journey. So thanks for being with us.
Listen, thank you for this opportunity, Grace and Andrew. Really.
Our ram in the bush.
I am. Oh.
We learned a term here before we started recording.
Andrew is like my mentor. Well, he is my mentor, even though he's younger than me. Mm-hmm. He's like a dad to me.
That's beautiful.
It's crazy.
I love that.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, Jay, thanks so much for being with us. Give us like 1,000-foot view of you growing up as a pastor's kid at your church. What was that like, and how does it affect you today?
Yeah, my dad started his church in 1986, so I was 3 years old when he started. It's been a journey. A great journey, nice, just wonderful things. My dad, hard worker, and so growing up as a PK, I know how to do everything in the church, literally. I could clean, I could play the drums, I could play the piano, I can run the sound system. You had to do all these things, right? And so
I remember when I had my fourth kid, Jason just looked at me and all he saw was a Sunday band.
He had all the pieces.
He's like, he's got it all. You got a drummer right there, a bassist,
guitarist, piano player. So, but that taught me a lot. Growing up in church. And it really gave me a perspective of ministry is serving. Ministry is learning to get your hands wherever your hands can be a part of, or your feet, just moving to these places.
And your dad was always bivocational,
He
right?
was, yes. I want to say something about that because I used to tell my dad all the time, you need to, he was a barber. He still is a barber. And so he's been cutting hair over 30 years, right? I used to tell him all the time, hey, you need to quit. You need to go full-time with the church and all that. We were not at that place, but I was able to work. And I thought about this the other day. Him going to work helped me be able to work at the church.
Yeah.
So that was a sacrifice, right? And so I'm starting to look at things differently too. One of the things about being in church all my life and my dad's being a pastor and being a PK, it has helped me. I have a 6-year-old son. So I've been married 7 years and we have a 6-year-old. And so, but I know how to operate with him differently because my dad wasn't a PK. So he kind of treated me one way. But since I've been in my son's shoes, I'm like, yeah, I don't make him do all that. I just treat him a little differently.
Yeah.
But it's a great learning experience. My dad pastored, we've been in Southwest over like 15 years. He was pastoring in Southwest, and then we merged the church. He took over a church, and so we've just been working in that community. And he grew up there, so he graduated from Edison in 1971. Now, my mother is from Bakersfield. Where Andrew's from.
Same.
Yeah, Grace
Oh,
too.
you too?
Yeah.
I knew there was something about you,
blood.
Grace.
That oil that runs through our blood.
Yeah. Now, she grew up on Cottonwood. I don't think you guys...
I grew up 2 exits away from.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got that Northwest.
You got that. This is Bakersfield talk.
Andrew's from the other side of town. If you know what I mean.
Okay. But yeah, so my dad, he's been in that neighborhood, Southwest, all his life. So he has seen that thing change.
So as you started to get more involved and step into the church life, I remember our early conversations, you used this term, a radius plan.
Yes.
What began to capture your imagination about a church being for its neighborhood, not just in a neighborhood? Like, how did that either slowly grow, or was there a lightning bolt moment, or what kind of led to that shift in you?
Let's talk mega church mentality, right? I feel like mega church mentality is, hey, we're going to win the whole city. I don't think that's possible. I don't think God designed us to be able to win a whole city, because churches have different pieces and we're all a piece of this greater puzzle. I really had this desire to be church, place-based, as EMP has taught me. So I'm just looking around and I'm like, people are not walking to our church. People are not coming from the community, right? And so I just start thinking about this radius plan and how can we, and even Southwest, I don't want to be the savior of Southwest. I don't think I'm, again, I'm a piece of this puzzle. And so I just thought, well, how can I get more involved? I think it was probably almost 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, because I got kids that are graduating high school that started at Columbia Elementary with me. So I think I had this desire. I wanted to do ministry on a different level. And I met Artie. I don't remember how I met Artie, but Artie was like, hey, why don't you be an NTA, a noontime assistant?
Artie's the former executive director of Every Neighborhood.
Yes, Artie Padilla, yes. I didn't know
You're
you wanted
good.
me to say all that.
Yeah.
But okay.
He's still the man, the myth, the legend. He
Yes.
now works at the Central Valley Community Foundation.
Yes, Artie Padilla. So Artie Padilla told me, be an NTA. And so about 13 years ago, I think it was, I went to Columbia. I'm like, I just want to help. We're in the community. And I just started as a noontime assistant. Yeah. Crazy, right? Just almost an hour and a half a day. Just start meeting the kids. It moved from there to, I started doing sports there, coaching in different areas. So that was my desire. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it, but I did have a passion to do it. And so when I met EMP, and then we started doing Saturday sports. I think that's kind of, we're doing Saturday sports there at Columbia Elementary. And so then that's how I kind of got started, got my feet wet. But because I had a passion and I had a desire, I humbled myself and asked for help. That's what I did. Even how I met Andrew was, I went to the Well Community Church and I said, hey, I want to learn how to do systems better. I want to learn how to just be more effective in what we do. And then I went through this mentoring program. I met my guy, Andrew, and my other guy, Dave.
You can't see them.
Dave
held hands.
Dave. Dave, you felt this though. You felt
Yes.
that.
Did you feel
Brotherly
the love?
affection.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
so Dave, but anyways, I met Andrew and then kind of started an internship there. So just, you gotta humble yourself and have a posture of like, I want to learn, I want to be better. Yeah. So.
I kind of want to circle back around to and like really kind of piece out the difference between being like outreach focused as a church and being place based. Like, what's the difference?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think outreach, you're looking at marketing, you're looking at maybe data, like how can we reach this age group? We're trying to get young adults. So place-based to me is this within a 1 mile radius, these people right across the street. So I don't know if we're going to ask this question, but I want to get into it already when we talk about being place-based. I think the number one thing that I've learned from EMP is that the church is a asset, not the asset. And I think that makes it different.
What do you mean?
So a lot of times we're like, come here, come to the church. We have this program. We can do this. We can save everybody. We can save your marriage. We can do this. Jesus is the answer. Absolutely. I believe that. But as the church, I think we are an asset, just like the police department is an asset, just like Fresno Housing is an asset, just like the Boys and Girls Club is an asset, just like Columbia or Lincoln Elementary, those are the two schools next to the church, are assets. And when I start to think that way, I'm like, being more place-based is saying, now what other assets that we can be a bridge to start connecting people with. And if I'm trying to reach people in outreach of saving souls, well, I can do that right across the street, right? I have never, ever done any church marketing other than like Facebook or Instagram, but like being at a Walmart across town or going to a neighbor, I have never done that. I've always been place-based. There's a Food for Less right on Fresno Street in 99. Like, I'm there. There's a Kimbo's Donut Shop. Like, I'm there on Fresno Street. I just never been across town doing something. One thing I also learned from big churches or mega churches is a pastor told me one time, he said, hey, we do city well, but we don't do our own neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go across town, but right across the street, we don't. And so just to go back to your question, I just feel like place-based says who's around me, the neighborhoods, the apartments. Now, I do look at our radius as different hubs in our community.
Where activity is happening.
Yes.
Is that what you mean by a hub?
Yes, like a hub. So the Boys and Girls Club is a hub.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
2 minutes away from our church, right? Columbia Elementary is a hub. Kimbo Donut Shop is a hub. You can get up at 4:30 in the morning and that thing is packed.
Crew of dudes chatting it up.
I mean, it's packed, right? It's these are hubs. So when I think about these natural hubs, I'm like, well, this is how you can do place-based ministry. It's right by you.
Well, and the other thing I've noticed too, and we've talked about this a lot, is like you've also shifted in the way you see people as an asset. And so like I was really moved by a story you were telling about as you've thought differently about like a food ministry that you have, and then you began to realize, man, when I'm looking around the neighborhood, Southwest, the folks that don't know, Southwest Fresno has like historically been the immigrant community or the upstart neighborhood. Historically, it had been a Black neighborhood, 30, 40, 50 years ago. That's radically changed. And so you all have also then thought about, okay, if we're reaching this neighborhood, what does that mean? So I know you had a really powerful story of seeing people as an asset and how, somebody you met at a food line, it can be that kind of,
Yes.
asset.
Yeah. I mean, going back to what you said about just the community, the neighborhood, that's another part that we had to change. So when my dad grew up there in the 60s and all that, it was a different culture, different demographic. It's not the same. So what do? Do we say, well, we're going to go where Black people are? Or, just in case you guys don't know, I am African American. If you guys can't see me, I know.
If you just listen.
If you're listening. Okay. So do we just want to be a Black church?
Right.
Again, I want to be a church that reflects the community. That means we had to change our even approach. So just having a staff meeting the other week, I'm like, everything we do it has to be bilingual. Now, I'm not saying we're there yet to offer it, but we got to
Right.
start thinking that way.
Yeah.
And people are access learning too from EMP just about how to begin to develop the people in your community to now become like resident leaders and moving forward. It's like now that pipeline. So the food ministry that we do have, we do Tuesdays and Sundays. Now we have residents. They're running it, right? But again, talking to Arnie Padilla the other day, he was like, hey, Jason, you got to start thinking every program you're doing, how can you empower the community? The neighborhood to start running it, right? So if we're doing parent groups at Lincoln Elementary or Columbia, the goal should be now the parents are running them, right? We're empowering people to make a difference, make a change. And they don't have to come to our church.
I guess I just want to like keep digging a little bit more of like, but why? Like the obvious why of like, if you have the resources and you have the vision for it, why not you just do it?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or like this, like if we genuinely believe that we have the truth and like the good news, why not just the church be the hub or the asset in the community?
Right.
Why does it matter that you then pass it off to a parent?
I just think it's this savior mentality that I am not the savior, but people may think that's what we're called to do, to be the savior. So then we take it upon ourselves. Like, we need to run this program. The only way that you can be changed is if you come to our campus. You walk on these campus grounds, right? And so I just start seeing people like Jesus would see people, right? Our mission at our church, Image Church, where I pastor, is to represent Jesus. Simple, right? But I want to teach people how to live like Jesus. That's number one, right? But the second thing, because we use this model of TIE, T-I-E. The second thing is I want to inspire people to engage with people like Jesus did. And that's where I'm at. So greater works, he said, you will do. Why is Jesus not here giving out food?
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
No, he's empowered us.
Yeah.
So then we need to empower others. But I just think we got to get this whole out of our mind, like, but you have to come to my church. You have to be a member. You need to go through a growth track class. No.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to come to my church for me to want to serve and for you to empower you? So I just think for me, I had to just change my mentality of Jesus empowered others to make a difference.
Yeah. I think what I hear you saying is like, it's not necessarily like one way is better than the other, but being place-based allows you to see people for who they are and what they actually bring to the table in a dignified and humane way, instead of seeing them as like just another, quote unquote, just another soul to save or just another soul to sit in a seat at my church.
It's called inherent dignity that Daniel Dominguez taught me. Daniel, I want to give props to you, my brother. Inherent dignity. Yeah, you got to see people. We are all made in his image. We all have something to offer.
And you get to then, I think it's two pieces there that I would add in is like, it's about leadership development. So you're developing leaders, right? Because the work is only going to continue if you got a group of people ready to go to serve this community. And really, if the neighborhood is going to change, it's going to be because a group of folks have built the skills, the vision, the capacity. I think that is why the church inherently has been this leader in our world, not just our city, to do works of good and works of justice, because it is an organized group of people. But we can also then partner with people of good faith who are in our churches and of goodwill, who just want to be a part of the neighborhood getting better. To that end, you all launched a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. Why would a church not launch a nonprofit? Why not just do the work inside the church? Why did you feel like, oh, this would actually make sense?
Number one, you do not have to have a nonprofit to do work, right? We all know that. So in 2012, we launched Generation Changers Title I Community Development Center.
It's a long title.
It is. Because somebody was talking to us about Title I funding. And so it's 2012. I just had a passion, the desire to do work, knowing that, and let's be honest, you do not have to have these type of, like a 501 and all that to do work. If you want to do work, you do work. But if you're looking for funding, you want to get contracts, that was one of my things, like, I want to do more. So I got so much to talk about, but little time.
No, it's good. Come on.
But I think if me and Andrew do a spin-off podcast.
Oh, okay.
Okay, listen.
Bye.
What would the title? What would the title be?
I don't know. We'll work it out.
Yeah, he's just cut you out of this, Grace.
That was so quick.
Chocolate and vanilla, we can do.
Oh, baby. Got to tell my wife about this.
So, again, Andrew has just seen me.
Yeah.
I felt like, again, like just infant and doing work in the community and stuff like that. Now, I told you 13 years ago, we started out. I was just an NTA. Right? Noontime assistant.
With Fresno Unified.
For Fresno Unified. 13 years later, and because we are a nonprofit, we could talk more about the benefits of this, but now we are a vendor with Fresno Unified. We're with extended learning as an after school. We got contracts for sports with Columbia. We're doing parent engagement at 2 sites. We're doing...
and now, I mean, you're an employer. Right? Like, I think that's one of those, like, even underside things is like, how many folks do you have on staff?
Oh man, 12?
12 folks on staff.
It's crazy, right?
So like, you're actually like, have helped employ people from the neighborhood, from the community to do the work that you're...
So this is when you call me last minute to step in.
Ram in the bush.
Yeah, being the ram in the bush. I just thought about something that I did want to talk about today. Just the power of what it means to be a real partner, okay? And with the nonprofit, just I don't want to leave that question, but while we started it. But I see these natural hubs, the elementary schools, I see our principals as shepherds. I do. Just like I'm a shepherd, I see them as a shepherd. I think true partnership, if I'm coming into their space, is not saying what I can do for you. And I think that's another problem that sometimes as the church, we always think our method is the best to help people. We're not talking about salvation right now. If we're talking about parent engagement, just practical things to help people live out this life,
right.
I just feel like we sometimes come in and say, hey, well, we're doing this. We can offer this. We're trying to do this. I get it. But what pastor would want members to come in and always just tell them what they should be doing and not listening to their vision? And I think that's been one of the things that has helped us to make these connections, because I go in there and I talk to a principal and I'm like, what is your vision? True partnership for me is coming in to help you fulfill your vision.
Yeah, and your purpose.
Your purpose.
Yes.
Because principals have a vision. They do, for their staff, their school, their students. So,
and if they don't, you even asking that question might prompt and trigger, stir it up.
And it has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or to be frustrated with the status quo. I've seen that in you as well, where as you've found your voice over these last couple of years, you're like, I also got to call out some stuff. Like our staff at the school can't treat our kids this way. They got to do better, right? So it's also a process of you going back, and that partnership is back and forth, right? It's like, I'm here to serve, and also I'm going to make you all better too.
Right. But
really quickly,
yes.
I just think that's the part maybe of the asset-based philosophy that people don't realize. I think, oh, well, then people just get whatever they want, and you're just kind of like, you just fall over and let it happen. It's like, no, we're collaborating. It's a partnership.
It's a partnership. So starting this nonprofit has put me in different spaces that I probably might not have been able to be in, and to offer programming and to get paid. I told a principal, I'm like, if we can do this program, I'm going to hire your parents from the community. Mm-hmm. Let's do this together. There is a paraprofessional test that you need to take if you don't have 48 units to do after school. And I'm like, I want to get more sites, just maybe 2 more. But then I thought, how can we, if school starts again in August, what can I do to get some tutoring and training going on for the people who don't have 48 units, but help them pass this test, so we can put some money in their pocket? Like, because if the community wins, we all win, right? So 2 things I want to share about what's been on my heart, which is what you're saying, like being this advocate. But I was talking to somebody from the homeless students with Fresno Unified. I did not know this. At Lincoln Elementary, we do have homeless students, right? If they don't have a bed, like an actual room at POV or Rescue Mission, they have to get up at 5 a.m. with their family and just kind of roam around till school starts. Then they're like, well, they're not producing. But you've been up since 4:30 in the morning. You're an elementary student. I thought about me and my wife and my 6-year-old son, like, what if we had to do that every morning? So now my mind is just running, like, in this community, okay, and this is not in another country.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Right? This is in Southwest Fresno, just less than a block. I mean, a couple of blocks from our church. And I told our church on Sunday, I'm like, I just don't want to have a building so we can post our campuses on Sunday and it's just open all week. Like, what can we do? What can we do for our families? And I want to be faithful to what he's given me. So I'm like, man, this is the conversation that happened a week and a half ago. And it just wrecked me. Like, what are we going to do? As a church, what are we going to do, right?
And like as encouragement to other pastors and leaders that are listening to that, like you also have the opportunity to ask that same question in your own spaces and places.
Right.
Like I think that we like to have a larger vision. And all you're doing is saying the radius around my church.
It's all around.
Not like what you're saying, the city, the region, 5-mile radius. 1 mile radius.
1.
Start with 1.
It's a 1 mile. And if you you're a pastor watching and you're like big on numbers, well, with Lincoln Elementary and Columbia Elementary, it's probably together like 8,000 people. We're not getting 1% coming to church, which would be like 80. Then I started thinking about it. I don't think we're not getting 0.5.
Of folks from those areas
those two
actually
neighborhoods.
walk in,
Yeah.
come in.
From those two neighborhoods. So the harvest is plentiful. If you feel like, man, our church is not growing, like the harvest is all around you. Maybe we got to change some methods, just change the way we think of some things, right? But having a nonprofit has been a blessing to us. And I want to empower people. I want people to grow like I'm growing and learn, But EMP has been a major blessing in my development. Just thinking differently, what it means to be really place-based, ABCD, asset-based community development, how to develop leaders. I think now we're in a place of seeing how do we really take this resident leadership, like cohort, to the next level. We're giving them a voice. They become like this power broker and just like, listen, your voice matters in this community. Generation Changers, our mission is to help people control their life and know their rights. Like, we want you to be better as a parent and your singleness, whatever the case may be. But then we want to be able to help you realize your voice matters in this community. And again, I'm only in 2 neighborhoods. Right. It's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
If, as you, in all your wisdom, in all your years, if you would give an admonition, an encouragement.
Am I lifting an offering?
Yeah.
Because I could lift one too.
Come on.
Do
Look
it.
it right in the camera.
We hope you, as you offer, you also purchase our drive tour. But as you think about it, what's like somebody's thinking and they're just like, that's all. He's doing a lot of stuff. That's all sounds awesome and exciting and a lot of vision. What do I do personally?
I want to tell you this. I feel if we can understand that we are all a piece of a puzzle, it's number one thing we have to realize. We have gifts, we got talents. He's given us these abilities, right? So I need to learn how to be the best piece that I can be. Find my place too. But Grace, if you're not the best piece or not even willing to be that piece, we're missing something. Because we need you to help this puzzle come together. That's what I'm saying. I can't think that I am the whole puzzle. I can't think that Generation Changers is the whole puzzle or Image Church is the whole puzzle. We are a piece of a puzzle, but going back to what I'm saying about being the best piece, but then, so what does that mean for me? That means maybe I need to come to some trainings. Maybe I need to get more involved to see what can I do. Maybe I need to ask more questions and begin to see the need. And one thing Bishop Jake says in his book, Disruptive Thinking, is God will create situations because he has given you the piece, which is the solution for that situation. Think about it. Now, again, it might not be something that the mayor is using, but maybe it's your neighbor. Maybe it's the school, right? We have a program called the BEST program, which we deal with sports for kids ages, first through fourth. But I'm not in Bullard area doing this. Southwest had a need. God gave me a solution or a piece. But then he hooked me up with somebody that says, hey, we want to start doing AAU basketball. That's the other piece. Like, I don't want to do that. I just want to help get kids that's in first grade get the fundamentals. But now somebody comes with another piece in Southwest that we could say, okay, and then this is how I get our church involved. Well, AAU costs money. Now, come on. Let's send 2 kids to this program. Now, again, I can't send all 10, but we can do our part. Be the best piece that you can. But you got to know that you're needed. Have you ever had a puzzle and just you're missing pieces?
It's the worst.
Who am I missing right now? I'm talking to somebody. We're missing you.
Yeah.
Stop your car right now.
Get in the game.
Get in the game. Sign up.
And it doesn't have to be start a nonprofit.
No.
Go give an hour.
Come on.
Well, and again, I think that's be on the journey. Like
Yes.
I've watched you on the journey. And I think that's, again, one of my favorite things of you, Jason, is you're willing to put yourself in a place to go. I don't know. Help me, connect me, be the resource, be the bridge for me. Most people aren't willing to do that. And because you're a great leader and you're doing amazing things.
Yep.
So
My last thing I want to say is to be willing to collaborate.
Yes.
Because even though I have our nonprofit, I love Saturday sports. And I talked to Andrew the other day. I'm like, I still want to do something in Southwest and come together.
I threw it out to Matt Ward and to some Edison region principals, and everybody was excited.
No.
it.
So, I mean, again, I hope he added me.
I did.
name,
You were
don't-
mentioned multiple times in that conversation.
What I'm saying is, though, but I think that's the humility of we all win. Don't get in this competition. Like, I'm going to start this, and I'm going to do this. I remember I told Andrew, I don't know if I should say this, but when I started pastoring, I've only been pastoring 6 years in March 17th, makes 6 years. When I started pastoring, I went to go talk to 2 pastors in our city, African-American pastors, and I felt like they were talking to me with one hand behind their back.
Right.
Like, you're not sharing with me everything. And I'm like, we have enough to go around. That's what I'm saying. If you be the best piece.
Break that scarcity mindset.
Yeah, man. I'm like, just collaborate, partner, come in with I told a church the other day, they said, we want to partner with this school. I said, do not go in there saying what you're doing. Please listen to me. Let them know that you're there to support. And a pastor said this, and I'll let you go. If it is God's will, then it becomes his bill.
Oh,
Like
hey.
if he puts this in your heart, trust him, and he'll meet every need that you have. Just be the best piece you can.
So good. Thank you, Jay. It's such a...
If you want to give anything, it's a good time to pull out your wallet. EMP, right? Come on.
That's why actually Pastor Jay's on the podcast today. It's encouraging and it's a blessing to hear what you're doing. And it's also very challenging. And I think that that's the sweetest mix is that there's a lot to chew on in this pod and we could keep going for a long time.
I know.
Appreciate you joining us, Jason, and we're excited to continue to collaborate and partner together.
Yes, thank you. I love you guys. I love you, EMP. I love you, Grace.
Love you,
Maybe we can do chocolate vanilla with whip.
Oh,
Dulce de leche.
yeah, dulce de leche.
Bye.
All right, see y'all. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to find out more about EMP, you can visit us at everyneighborhood.org or follow us at EMP Fresno. Every Neighborhood Partnership and this podcast exists to activate, equip, mobilize, and transform here in Fresno and beyond. If you liked what you've heard, please share and review what's good in the neighborhood wherever you listen. We'll see you next time.